Good morning, thank you for having us. I'd like to introduce you to our company. It's been going strong for about 15 years now, founded by two members which I'll introduce you to a little bit later on. Our company is Powers and Commander Construction Limited. My name's Chris. I'd like to introduce you to the team. We have Chris over there on the left, he's our project manager. Jackson is our site manager. I'm the site supervisor here. We have Jess to my right, he's the health and safety manager. Tiernan is another site supervisor, and Edmund is our security manager. We've got five core values: integrity, accountability, diligence, perseverance and discipline. And we are very proud of our core values, and we strive to uphold these at all times. The project we're pitching to you today is the Bramley factory renovation. On our agenda, we've just got a few things to run through what we're going to talk about in the next 20 minutes or so. So we've got the site plan we're going to go through, site phases, access and traffic management plan, deliveries and collections, location of all the cabins on site, storage areas, site security, emergency arrangements and procedures. We'll also go through welfare, signage, site rules, permit to work system we've got in place, our RAMs, which we've got an example of, which we can show you out today, the induction procedure and checklist, all permissions and notifications. At the end we'll show you, we've got a celebrity coming in, which is our open day, and then at the end of that, any Q&As. So what I'll do now is I'll pass you over to our project manager, Chris. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Chris. I'm Chris. I've been with the company for the last 15 years. We've got a lot of experience doing this type of setup, and hopefully you'll appreciate what we can do for you. I'm just going to go through a general introduction to the site. The location of the site is to the southwest of the area that's designated for major redevelopment works. To the east is the Bramley Close development there. To the north is a farm, and further north is this Bramley Primary School. The new development at Bramley Close is currently under development. This is contributing to a lot of noise and pollutions and irritations to the local residents. So we will work in very close collaboration with the local community that we will try to keep happy at all times. The farm is fully functioning, and that's on the north. Extra care has to be taken with regards to pollution. The environmental impact of the farm was assessed previously, and special measures will be put in place to prevent contamination to groundwater. The Bramley Primary School is our main concern. That's to the north, as you can see there. Children love playing on construction sites. The site perimeter has to be secured at all times to prevent children from gaining access to the site. Stringent security measures will be in place, and they will be in place at all times. The local roads, this school road is from south to north, has a 30 mph speed limit, and that's where the site entrance is located just there. Bramley Road is slightly busier in this location here, and the site exit is going to be in this area here. That's a 40 mph speed limit. A traffic marshal banksman will be in place during site working hours. Phase one. I just want to add, the site is going to be developed into two phases. So the first phase that you can see here, this is the renovation of the brick building. It's a 19th century factory building. We're going to be fitting out 3 shops in this area with flats on the second story. To include in the renovation is the slate roof restoration, and asbestos lighting has to be removed. That will be done by an external contractor, a specialist contractor. As you can see from the plan, we've got traffic arrangements in place. There's going to be a 5 mph speed limit on site, so it has to be adhered to. Pedestrian routes are totally separated from vehicle routes, and routes will be signposted to assist with orientation and safety. Then there's parking to the north, as you can see over there, with a pedestrian crossing, and pedestrians will have right of way at all times. The cabins are located to the east of the site and adjacent to the factory. These cabins will accommodate site welfare, site manager's office, first aid, training room, and canteen. Utilities will be run to these facilities right at the start of the project. As you can see, a major hazard on site is an overhead running cable. It goes straight to the middle of the site. We'll have a goalpost system in place, that area over there. And barriers will also be put in place either side. The height of the goalpost, that's specified by the local electricity supplier. The laydown area and storage, very important, is to the top, to the north of the site. More about the storage facilities that we will provide from a colleague of ours, from a colleague of mine. The skip and refuge are located down in this area here. And then we're just going to carry on to phase 2. So basically phase 2 consists of construction of parking areas for both the shop and residential that's available from the refurbishment project. The laydown area that you will see now is much smaller. It won't require such a big laydown area. And the main access routes to the site, these access routes stay the same. Okay, they will remain the same. And then next. I did want to make you aware specifically of how the entrance will be configured. This is really important to get this right actually. So the site entrance set back from the main public road so that all vehicles to the entry of the site will not obstruct any traffic. And then entry contact at these points here. And then of course we've got very, very high level boarding and chain link fencing around the site for security. And that's it really regarding the general introduction to the site and the scope of work. I will now pass you over to my colleague Tiernan that will talk us through delivery and collection, cabins, and a storage area.
Thank you very much for that, Chris. So as Chris said, I'd just like to introduce myself again. My name's Tiernan Commander. I'm a partner in the company alongside Jackson. I'm going to be working on the job as a supervisor. So I'm here now to talk about deliveries. As you know, the site is located on a busy road. It's got another construction site, it's got a school, and it's got a farm. Therefore, we're going to have a special delivery system in place. The delivery system, we're going to need 24 hours notice before we can book in a delivery. As you'll see, we've got the form here. We're going to need to include your company name, the company phone number, company email address, time of delivery, and date of delivery. We will then confirm back to you if the delivery is going to be able to come in. We're going to need to work along with the other companies and things on the road. So if your delivery is not going to be available, we're going to confirm back to you an alternative date and time that you can bring the delivery in. Also, because there's a school on the road, we will have certain times of delivery. They need to be between 9 AM and 3 PM. That's because the kids will be getting delivered to school and getting picked up. We don't want to cause any inconvenience for them. We don't want any build up in the road, and we want the children to get home as safely as possible. So next, we will have 4 cabins on site. Cabin 1 will be the site office. This will include the induction room, the first aid room, and the training room. Cabin 2 will be our welfare area. At any time, numbers on site will not exceed 50 persons. To accommodate this, we will provide 6 male lockable toilets with 4 urinals, 4 female toilets with a disabled toilet, and wash areas within the bathrooms. A canteen, which will include 3 microwaves, 2 fridges. One will be a fridge that can include meat, and the other will be a meatless fridge to accommodate vegans or any religious beliefs that we have. We will have 2 toasters, 2 kettles, and 1 water dispenser. We will also have different types of sinks. We'll have a sink for washing up yourself. We'll have sinks for washing your plates, washing your cutlery, anything like that. Next, we will have change rooms with lockers and a drying room. Everybody will be allocated with a locker when they come to site. So next of all, we have storage areas. There's 4 main storage areas that we'll have on sites. One will be material storage. All material will be stored in one location. It will be a safe, dry area so that your material won't get wet, everything will stay safe. Next to that, we will have a storage area for tools and toolboxes, any things like that. Everything will be located in the same area, so it's not going to be bits and pieces everywhere. There's not going to be a toolbox here, a toolbox there. Everything will be located in the same area. Next storage area will be plant, where we will store telehandlers or scissor lifts or cherry pickers, should we need those on site. And lastly, we'll have a storage area for cash. This area will be locked at all times and the key will be in the site manager's office. Should anybody need anything from that office, they will need to go, sign the key out, and then we will know who's been there, if anything goes missing, or if there's any hazardous materials. So lastly, our welfare assessment. All staff on site will be managed by myself. We will have hand sanitizers and soaps throughout the site. There will be one shower in each bathroom. Both showers will have hot running water in case people need to use them. First aid facilities, they will be stored in our site offices. Minor injuries will be covered by first aid. If there's any major injuries, we will then go to our Bromley Hospital, which is located 2 miles from the site. All cabins on the site, they will be fully heated, and throughout the site we will have a number of bins. We will have both recyclable bins and general waste bins. Should you need be, please always use the recycling bins. They're very, very important for our environment. And we will have a no walk by ethos. If you see anything that could be a danger or a hazard, please report it straight away. If you don't report that, you're just as guilty as anyone else. Next of all, I'd like to introduce you to Eddie. He's our security manager. He'll take over from me.
Yes, thank you, Shannon. Thank you guys for listening to my colleague. My name is Edmond. I'm the site security manager. Yes, I'll give you brief details about myself and my company. I've been around for quite about 20 years. I've been a police officer with the Metropolitan Police, then founded my own company called Express Securities. As you are aware, we know security issues it cannot be overemphasized, because priority is always given to security, because of the most important thing in any site, in any construction job is security. And for this reason, we place particular emphasis on adequate security for the staff of the people that will be working on site, in particular, and every other person that will be visiting the site. So we have devised lots of measures that have been put in place with my company called Express Security Limited, based here in London. So what we've done, we've got, if you look at the plan, we've got 2 exits, the entrance and the exit, which is for people coming in, material and people coming in, and the exit. So we have included closed circuit security system around the perimeters of the site for effective security coverage, so that there will be no issues of people coming into the site without authorization. And then for the employees that will be coming into the site and probably as contractors, we've devised a smart fingerprint reader system for access for people to staff to come in. We invented this because we try to avoid the issue of complicated codes, so that when you scan your fingerprint after the induction, then you can go into site straight away. In addition to that, we provided guards, 2 guards that will be on site 24/7 of the day. One will be at the entrance, and then one will be at the exit, so that we can be sure that people coming into sites, especially workers, they are fully protected. And then for the 9th guard, we're making provision for a dog, a security dog that will be patrolling sites to make sure that our equipment, materials are very, very safe. And as you can see, the full site is fully covered with security cameras, so that we can be sure that every material that will come on site and our staff are fully protected. Yeah, so for the emergency procedures and arrangements, we certainly covered a lot as well, so that because our priority is the protection of lives and property. particularly lives. So for fire evacuation, we have a wireless connected fire alarm system throughout site on all our fire trolleys. This is to enable us, in case of fire, for us to be able to evacuate sites without any loss of lives. We've also made provision for, if you look at the plan, we've made provision for fire extinguisher as strategic areas of the site. So in case of any fire, then it can easily be put off without causing any damage. And we've made provision for fire routes as well, which will be explained at the point of induction, so that every employee that will be working on site will be able to be sure of, in case there's a fire, the route they can easily just leave the site and go to the muster point. And we are also we'll be contracting a fire contractor so we to install a fire alarm so that in case there's a fire, then we can easily just exit sites. And we'll also be making provision for fire warding on site so that the fire warding will be able to give a response in case there's a fire, evacuate every staff out of the site, and probably, if there's need for it, get the emergency services to come on site. So, in the event of a fire emergency, we've got a hospital called Bramley Hospital, which is just 2 miles off the road, in case anyone needs probably emergency attention. There's an ambulance station just across the road, which is about 500 meters to the north of the existing Greenfield site entrance. So these have been put in place so that we will not have any fatality on site, and I'm sure that we will be all right and there will be no loss of lives while this project is ongoing. I will now hand over to my friend Jackson to give us more light about the thank you very much for listening.
Thanks, Eddie. I'll be discussing the signage on site. I'm Jackson, the site manager. So we're required to display the first 4 signs that we have there: health and safety at work, employers' liability insurance, health and safety regulations, and the company's trading disclosure. They'll be on display in the site office at all times. And then we have some more site-specific signs here, a few examples for the work we're conducting here. So we have the most important I feel would be the road signs, as we're working on quite a busy road with school, so it's quite important that we have pedestrian signage, speed limit signs, everything in place. And of course on the site as well, we have our one-way system for entry and exit for deliveries. We have some signage for site safety, for PPE, a COSH, of course, asbestos signage as well. So at the start of the job, there is actually asbestos that needs to be removed. So we'll be employing a private contractor for that, a specialist in that area. We're all aware of the dangers of asbestos, so it's very important that those signs are displayed. We'll talk also about the permits to work. So on this job, we're going to be employing a electronic permit to work system. So that's just to control any potentially high risk activities that might be conducted on the site. So they'll be signed off by myself personally on a by task basis. And specific to our site, of course, there is that main power line running across our site. So that may need to be isolated from time to time, which of course requires a permit. So that's electrical work. We do have COSH substances on the site, so we do have hazardous materials. Of course, roof permits for working, we will be replacing the slate roof on the existing building. And hot works, that's quite a common occurrence on these jobs, so that will also need to be with a permit. So I'll be conducting the inductions as well, and that'll be happening every day, Monday to Friday, from 7:45 to 8:15 in the morning. We do have we've got an online pre-enrollment system. So 24 hours prior to your induction date, you'll be required to upload your SMSTS card, your identification,
5 minutes ago.
any supporting documents that you may have, and then of course you'll be required to present them for inspection before entering the site. So we do have a video as well that we play for our inductees, and that covers the general project description, the site layout, rules, emergency procedures, the safe systems of work, what we expect from our contractors, and any other general points, PPE, and tax and reporting. I'll hand you over to Jess now to discuss the site rules.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm the Health and Safety Manager, and I'm going to talk to you guys about the site rules, our RAMS assessments, and our permissions and notifications that we have to do. So the site rules are very important to keep everyone safe, including the staff, visitors, and the public. They need to be followed. So we have quite a long list here. You probably can't see this from all back there, but we've highlighted a few that are the most important ones that we feel. So we have a 5-point PPE system, hard hat, eye protection, boots, high-vis vests, and gloves, saying that we have to follow all safety signs and notices, smoking liquids in certain areas, site induction training, and yeah, a lot of them are there, so they need to be followed. So we've also carried out risk assessment and method statements. These need to be completed for each item of work, and these are required in order to assess the risks and the hazards that are going to be there, and then implement appropriate control measures. We've done an example one, which is the we'll pass around after, for the renovation of the slate roof. Within this, we've identified the main hazards are the overhead power line and then falling from height. And then appropriate control measures for this are risk assessments, relevant signage, height restrictions, permits to work, and some safety equipment such as harnesses and nets. We also have permissions and notifications. So these are what we need to do in order to notify the certain parties of the upcoming construction. So this will include the F10 notification, which our project is notifiable as it's over 30 days and has more than 20 persons on the site at a time. We also need to do planning permissions, environmental permits, and like telling the local community about the construction, and there's quite a few other ones that we'll be able to notify, but that's about it for the permission notifications, so we're going to hand over to Chris to kind of finish off our presentation.
And just to finish off, we've got other considerations. All materials, where possible, will be sourced locally, putting money back into the local community. We will also be inviting the school on site to give them an idea and future vision of a good construction site. As part of our own initiative, we will build the school an outdoor garden. And then lastly, I just have to say we are very aware of the suicide rate amongst construction workers. Mental health and stress will be monitored constantly, and appropriate support measures will be in place, and support will be available at all time. And then lastly, we've got our Celebrity Open Day, and Kimmy's coming. So, Kimmy's coming over from Los Angeles, and she will be opening the site for us, and then we'll go inside with, of course, her boutique that will be in our factory. So that's just a brilliant result. Thank you very much for attending this meeting, and we are looking forward to taking some questions. Thank you.
Well done. Okay, questions from the floor, please.
You have some questions. First off, clients visits. How does it work when we want to visit the site? Do we have a client induction? Do we have a responsible person to contact?
Yes, well, if there's a client induction, you'll speak to the management team. So you'll email he's in charge. So you'll send an email across, and he'll confirm when you're going to be visiting. You will have a 5-minute briefing. So if you need to go about site, we will take you. We will be beside you all day. Unless if you want to get a full induction, you will be able to go on site yourself. But usually, if you want to come and visit, you will be with one of us all day.
Yeah. I assume you also provide us with safety equipment.
We do, we do. We've got that spare PPE in our office.
Okay, yeah, that's good. And about security, there's 2 points that I want to ask. The fingerprint system with working people, do you think that works? I mean, I started back in the days as a labourer myself, and you work on a construction site with dirty hands. Do you have experience with that?
We've got hand sanitizer that can remove dirt. These, and if you can have 2 fingerprints, so if one fingerprint doesn't work, you can use the other fingerprint. It's easy to wash off, and if you're having any issues, we can add as much fingerprints as you want. I'm sure one of your fingerprints is going to work.
Also, when you log onto the system, there's a 4-digit code which is supplied with it, so if your fingerprint doesn't work, you can punch the 4-digit code in.
Okay, yeah, that's good, thanks. And in case of an emergency, you have a very good evacuation plan. How does the security work when you need to evacuate the site? Do you have people still being in place so nothing gets stolen?
As you said, we have fire marshals in place, we have fire wardens. So if the site's getting evacuated, nobody's going to be left on site. We're not going to, if there's a danger of fire, we're not going to keep people there. As soon as we have all of our operatives on site, we're not going to have anybody there. So if things are getting stolen, I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend anybody go and steal out of a burning building.
Security will still be in place when you're outside.
Yeah,
exits
yeah.
and entrances.
Yeah, I think that's
It will still
important that you
it will still be in place.
also
but it's
keep
not
the
on
people
site.
out, because you will have spectators, you will have journalists who want to.
As we have said, we do have CCTV cameras everywhere. All gates will be locked. The only way people can get in or out is through the turnstiles. So if they want to steal anything, they're not going to fit it through the turnstiles, and we will have people at the turnstile. So I don't believe anything will be able to get stolen.
I have a small question. What was the main reason behind inviting Kim?
Actually, we were very fortunate because she was really interested in this project. It's a fantastic restoration project, and obviously it caught her eye, and she's opening a boutique there. So one of the boutique stores is there, and she said she will do us the favour and open on the day. So that's why she's involved.
I think her assistant asked you, didn't she, about a store?
Yeah.
The only one I had was about the school, but you've closed it off about deliveries. I've worked my school before and it was a nightmare. And we've done exactly that. Time deliveries and got them in on site and showed them around. Brilliant idea.
Is that it then?
Is it in
Well done, guys. Well done. It's a wrap.